What is up, YouTube? It's your boy C1 back at you with a highly requested video. I've not been able to find this video anywhere, and a lot of people seem very confused on this topic, and I was as well until I got these settings down perfect. If you're confused what I'm talking about, basically in the last Rust update, which happened last week on Thursday, Force Wipe, they set a bunch of new graphic settings that have been causing a lot of people issues like screen tearing, FPS drops, stuff like that, game crashes. I mean, a bunch of stuff's been happening. But I think I finally have the settings down, and I'm going to share them with you right now, as well as for all you new Rust players or medium-level Rust players. I also have all of the pro FPS binds, headlerps, gun FOV, a bunch of other stuff like that. So stick around for the whole video, and I got you guys. Here we go. All right, let's get into it. So first things first, you want to open up your... Someone is letting it rip over here. All right, we're going to turn that down. All right, first things first, you're going to want to hop into your options. You want to copy these down. This is pretty much basic stuff. They didn't really change anything on here. But here's my settings for options. I'm just going to share all of them with you. If you already have these, great. If not, here you go. I'm going to go through these pretty fast because none of these really matter. None of these changed. They've kind of been the same for a long time. All right, so once you have these down, go over to user interface. Here's some more stuff that I have. These are just personal preference, by the way. You don't have to actually copy mine down word for word. The only ones that I would say to definitely turn on is definitely turn off head bop and hurt flash. Other than that, you can kind of rock whatever you want. Also, show blood, turn that off as well. That a lot of people have been saying that decreases FPS, so definitely want to turn that off as well. User interface, just copy these down as well. Like I said, this is personal preference, but yeah. So now we're going to go over to screen. You, of course, want your resolution to be max. You want your mode to be full screen. And FPS limit, I crank it to my max, which is 240. And, yep. So copy that down as well. Like I said, this is just based off of what kind of setup you have, etc. All right, now we're getting into the juicy stuff. Graphics. Here we go. All right, so now we're over in the graphics tab. This is the juicy stuff. This is the stuff that's going to give you that FPS boost that you've been looking for. All right, so let's start. Preset custom, render scale 1.0. Keep it on render scale 1.0 always. DLSS off, DLAA off. I run DLSS on Call of Duty, and I love it, but on Rust it just does not give me the same effect. It makes everything kind of look fuzzy, and so I just keep that off. DLAA, keep that off. Global rendering, this is gonna be a difficult one. So in the last patch, global rendering only took FPS but did not change how far you could see. I know it sounds crazy, but there's been a lot of tests done on it. And global rendering for some reason is like bugged and does not work. It could be fixed now. I have not fully investigated that, but I keep it off and my FPS is beautiful, so, and I can see as well. So keep global rendering off, distance down to low, basically everything low and off. Okay, water reflection, water quality, draw distance, etc., etc., etc. Turn it all off. Grass displacement, grass shadows off. NVIDIA reflex mode, make sure you have it on plus boost. Trust me, fantastic. NVIDIA's reflex latency marker off, precise terrain billboards off, soft particles off, pixel light count. I have all these on the lowest you can possibly get. This was what was causing a lot of my issues that I was having. Basically, I have RTX 3080 and a Ryzen 7 9800X 3D. Sorry, I said Ryzen 9. That was my CPU before I upgraded. And I was finding that a lot of these, when I had these on their default settings that come when you run ultra or max settings, were causing a lot of FPS and screen tearing. So I turned all of these down, and it seems to have fixed everything, and it's beautiful. I'll show you my game in a second. So turn these off all the way down. We'll turn these all the way down. And then we go down to textures. Okay, so textures is a tricky one. So textures definitely affects your FPS and your performance for sure. It kind of varies person to person what they enjoy and what they like. I'm running full resolution with all textures, and the reason why I'm doing that is because I have noticed that my gun, if you can see my gun right here, you can really see the details on it. And you know, if you're gonna pay money for Rust skins, you know, you want to see the full detail of them. Here's another gun too, just to give you guys kind of an example. Hold on. Like my Tommy. Okay, so like when you examine it, it's like extremely detailed, looks beautiful, but this does cause a little bit of FPS hit. So if I go over here and I change down to half resolution, which a lot of people are saying the half resolution is good. It definitely gives me like a 10 to 15 FPS boost, but it does not make your guns look as good, as you can tell. See how the back of my gun is blurry? as you can tell, it just doesn't look as clean. Which, like I said, if you spend a lot of money on Rust skins, you want to see the full texturation of it, so, and full texture and stuff. So I just keep this on full. I would recommend, if you're looking for max FPS and you don't give a single shit about what your gun looks like, quarter resolution. I would not go below quarter resolution though. Quarter resolution and half resolution are basically the same thing. I have not really noticed a difference with them. I'll switch to quarter resolution just real quick to show you guys what I'm talking about. As you can tell, gun pretty much still looks the same. It's a little bit more blurry, but you know, it's if you want that extra FPS boost, go for it. I would definitely recommend running half. If you got a little bit of a lower budget PC, I'd go quarter. But yeah, if you got a high budget PC, I definitely recommend running full resolution if you like to really enjoy like the patterns and stuff in your guns. Okay, so off that topic, so let me put this back on. Your game's gonna lag, by the way, when you're switching these things. But yeah, as you can tell, here's full resolution. I mean, the difference is literally insane. So I'm gonna run that. Tropical filter mode. I run it on all textures. 1 off. Stream map memory is 64. Now we get down to shadows. Shadows causes massive FPS drops. Massive. Like not even like a little bit. It causes massive. Here's what I'm running. Everything on 0 or low. I'm not really sure about the distance shadow max or the shadow mask, like which one's better. I'm running shadow mask and it seems to work fine. I'm getting like 238 FPS. I'm not even lying. It's insane. And so, and this is day 4, by the way, of a wipe of 1000 pop. So that gives you an idea. Yeah, it's pretty great. So this is what I'm running for this. Copy that down. Okay, so now under image effects, I have everything off, but there's some things that you can turn on if you want to adjust certain stuff. For example, okay, so I go out here and as you can tell, you know, like stuff's got a little bit of like you know, jaggedy edges, stuff like that. A lot of people don't like that. I've been playing like this for a very long time, so I don't mind it. But if you want, you can turn on sharpen. As you can tell, look, no performance hit. You can turn on sharpen. You can kind of tell it gets rid of those, you know, jaggedy edges and kind of just sharpens up your image a little bit. I don't like it. It seems to kind of hurt my eyes, so I just turn that off. Another thing too is you can turn on vignetting. I don't even know if that's the right word for it. Sorry if I just butchered that. You can turn on that as well. Both these together look pretty good together, but like I said, I've been playing without sharpen and that off for a long time, so I just keep it off. Anti-aliasing mode, you can turn it on to, you can test these out yourself. It's kind of just based on what kind of PC you have. But this also will get rid of that kind of jaggedy, pixelated looking kind of edges and lines and shit like that you see. So you can mess around with that as well. Under accessibility, this is just, you know, whatever. I like to have my mushrooms. I like to have my mushrooms blue. And I like to have my trees with orange X's because you can see them better at night. And I like to have my hollow blue. So it's kind of just personal opinion. But yeah, you can switch all these up. This doesn't do anything to your FPS, by the way. Experimental is huge, okay? Highly recommend turning on automated processor affinity. Okay, so automated processor affinity is basically like there's a program that everyone used to have installed called Process Lasso. Process Lasso basically allowed you to do this to certain programs, but you had to download that program. And it basically is doing the exact same thing that Process Lasso used to do, but it's implemented into Rust. It's great. Highly recommend it. And yeah, especially if you have a Ryzen. If you have a 3D, I mean, my God, turn that on. It's ridiculous, okay? Optimize loading. For everyone that's loading into servers very, very slowly, I recommend turning this on partial. I have it on partial. You know, some people could turn it on. I think it's full or no, off. Okay, so turn on partial. I swear you'll notice a massive difference in loading times into servers. It's great. So yeah, make sure to turn that on. You of course got to restart your game for it to take effect, as it says, but you'll definitely notice like a faster loading time into the server. GC buffer. I have mine on 253. That was kind of the default when it transferred over all my settings. I'm not an expert on GC buffer, I'll be completely honest, but I have mine on 253 and it seems to be working quite nicely. And yeah, that comes down to the graphic settings. And just to give you guys kind of a little look into my game, just to show you what everything looks like and FPS wise. So you can tell if you look bottom left, FPS is 210, 200, 199, 200, 206, 190, 185, 188, 184, 182, 177, 180, 185, 182. So around like 180 to 200, 187. Like I said, this is day 4 of a server, so day 1, normally I'm getting like 230, not either line. 230 to 220. And my game, in my opinion, looks absolutely beautiful. And as you can tell, we're getting back up to 200s when I walk over this way, which train yard's right over there, so I'm kind of shocked that we're getting that much FPS, but we are. And yeah, the FPS is just beautiful. Playing Rust on, I mean, 215, 209, 218, 221. This kind of FPS is absolutely insane, so highly recommend it. But anyways, now getting into the keybinds and all the stuff that a lot of the big YouTubers might be hiding from you guys, or gatekeeping. JK, they're not gatekeeping it, but a lot of people don't talk about it, and I think it's very important. It's a bunch of different keybinds and a bunch of console settings that will improve your PvP and make your game look a lot more FPS orientated, if that makes sense. You'll see what I'm talking about. All right, here we go. All right, so now we're in the tips and tricks section. All right, first things first. Number 1 recommendation for anyone that's playing Rust is using your side and front mouse button, okay? For example, my back mouse button is crouch. It gives you the ability to easily sprint crouch to make absolutely no noise. Front button, hover. Oh, sorry, you can't see it. Front button on your mouse, hover. Allows you to easily jump up and down with your spacebar. Keep your fingers on WASD while hovering. It's really easy, really nice. Definitely recommend doing that. To do that, you go into controls, scroll down. It should say, so duck. This would be mouse 3, which is this button right here on the side of your mouse. And then it should say hover, which is right. Hover loot, H, or mouse 4. Default is H, mouse 4 is the front button on my mouse. Like I said, highly recommend doing that. It's very nice. Next thing is the graphics.vm scale. So if any of you guys play COD or any type of FPS game on PC compared to console, do you remember how on PC you could really see like a lot more of the gun, and the gun looked a lot more smaller on the screen and gave you basically a more visual look? Well, anyways, you can set that in Rust. So basically the way to do that is you want to hit F1, go into console, and you want to type in graphics. I already have mine set, of course. Graphics.vm. And you want to go down here where it says graphics.vm FOV scale. You want to set this from true. So mine's on false right now, which is what you want it on. So yours is going to be on a false. You're going to literally just click it, hit spacebar, and type in false, and then hit enter. Okay, so once you do that, you'll notice your gun zooms out a lot more, and it helps you a lot with the visual recoil. It makes your gun and makes it more narrow, and it gives you more of a clearer view when you're fighting. Basically, when you aim in, your gun won't take up half your screen, and now it takes up like a quarter, as you can tell. And it's super nice. Makes the game a lot more FPS-y, and it's beautiful. Okay, the next tip, which is my personal favorite, is the client.headlerp. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, basically when you're alt looking, okay, so like this, and you let go of alt, it takes a good amount of time for it to snap back to the front. You don't want that. If you're in a heavy gunfight, you want to make sure that you can snap back and forth super fast. So the way to fix that is you want to open up your console again. You want to type in client.headlerp space and put in 10. So when you do that, if I snap to the left, look how fast it snaps back. It's super nice when you're fighting because, you know, like if you see someone to your left or your right or whatever, you can be able to snap on them super fast. And it's super nice in general. Highly recommend doing that if you want to get better at PvPing and stuff like that. Helps out a lot. Allows you to just snap back, as you can tell. Okay, my last tip, and I think one of the most important ones, and one of the ones that a lot of people do not take full advantage of, is the FOV bind. So as you can tell, you're probably wondering, what is that? It's basically switching my FOV from 90 to 70. So if you see someone from a distance, you can literally aim in, hit the button, it'll zoom in to 70 FOV to give you a closer look at, you know, like an enemy or a monument or something like that, to basically be able to see people a little bit easier. And the way to do that is you're going to go to your console again. You're going to type in bind. Now this is personal preference, okay? So you can bind this however you want. I prefer to bind it with mouse 4, which is my scroll wheel. So basically I click my scroll wheel down, as you can tell. click it down, and it zooms in my FOV, and I just let go, and it zooms it back out. Okay, for the FOV bind, you're basically going to want to type it in exactly as you see here. Now, of course, where it says bind, after this, after you type in bind, you can do a space. And you can put whatever key you want. So, for example, if you want T, or you want Y, or you want U, etc., you can type in whatever you want personally there. And basically, when you hit that key in game, it'll switch to FOV. And when you let go, it'll switch back to your normal FOV. Super nice. Like I said, put this in word for word. A lot of people have had little like tricks if you either miss a semicolon or you put a space somewhere, etc. I will leave it down below so that you can make sure to copy it directly. But like I said, so you type in bind into your console like you would down here, just like you've done all the other ones right down here. But after you do the space after bind, you can put whatever key in you want. It's personal preference, of course. And then make sure you put a space after it. So like, for example, bind U, and then a space after, make sure you have that space, and then plus FOV space 90, semicolon, FOV space 70, semicolon. As you can see, that'll allow you to go from 90 to 70 FOV. If this video helped you out, make sure to leave a thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, comment down below if you have any questions, concerns, or have any input on, maybe some new binds, key binds that I missed, or some new graphic settings that I missed, etc. Let me know. I appreciate everyone watching, and last but not least, let's snowball, baby! Peace.